Hello and welcome back to Unpopular People.
We believe that listening and learning from each other is key for personal development and success.
Today in our interview, Marco Wagner.
Marco is originally from Cologne in Germany and lived in New Zealand for some time.
He's one part of the DJ duo called Boy Boy.
They played in many clubs and festivals around whole New Zealand, but also in Germany, in Berlin and many other places.
Marco lives in England now and his DJ partner in France. Why and how they handle this situation, you will learn in this interview.
We share our experience that we had together playing at the amazing Luminate festival in New Zealand.
And Boy Boy is part of our large new music network. If you want to find out more about this, visit the service section on our website www.unpopularpeople.com.
You can support us by using the donate button on our website. And now enjoy this interview with Marco. Hi Marco. Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for
having me.
Thanks for this conversation coming up. I hope it will be a good one, but I guess it will be.
Pretty sure.
Very glad to see you again. It's been a while. I think the last time we met was on the Luminate festival, as far as I can remember. And since then we only were in touch via like some messages in between, and so we wanted to catch up, but we also wanted to know a little bit about your story and also the story of Boy Oh Boy, the duo, like the DJ duo you're in. And let's just start with the first question that we always ask our people, our interview guests, and it's always the same, just for our listeners to get to know you a little bit. Where were you born and how did you grow up?
I was born in Cologne or near Cologne in Germany, and grew up probably as typical as possible for a person who's born in Germany. Like, went to school, did my apprenticeship, did my studies, all that sort of stuff. So it was like a proper normal German life until I turned 25 and got a little bit sick of it. So I decided to go for a little work and travel trip and went to New Zealand. So it's pretty short story, but that's roughly how it is.
And how did you come to the music?
Happened in New Zealand for the first time that I actually made like proper experience with music. I mean, I always loved electronic music. I went to a lot of parties and in Cologne and in Germany, some festivals, etc. So I always was a lover for that kind of music, but I never ever thought about it that I could involve myself in it somehow, until I went to New Zealand and met a really nice guy. His name is Barton Storm. Maybe you guys know him. He's a proper Kiwi, and he founded a label called Beat and Path right at the time when I arrived in New Zealand, and I got in touch with him, and he offered me a little internship at the label. And that's sort of like where everything started, where I like had the opportunity actually to, for the first time, touch DJ equipment, which I never done before, you know. And he's a big producer together with his brother, so they had a big studio. And in return for my work for the label, he started teaching me stuff, and I got totally into it.
And the whole electronic music thing, did you get influenced by your parents, or like how come that you ended up in listening to electronic music and not rock or hip hop or something like this?
That's a good question. But my parents, I don't even know. I don't even know if I know their taste in music, if they have one. But it was more my friends, probably. Like, I remember, my best friend, he came around 2010, I don't know exactly when it was, but he first came out and he's like, guys, listen to this track. It was Paul Kalkbrenner Keule, and it was pretty minimal but really nice, and I never heard something like that before, and we sort of like we really liked it, and we started listening to the whole Paul Kalkbrenner thing, then Sky and Sand, massive hit, came out, and it was one of my first gigs I went to, was seeing Paul Kalkbrenner live, and that's probably a big influence for everyone who sees him live.
And like you said, the first time you touched like DJ equipment was in New Zealand, but like why didn't you like try it before, when you were interested in this kind of music, and when you like always like lived the electronic music life?
I probably never dared. Like, I never dared to do it. You know, you kind of so caught up in, like, I don't know, I was never used to any other lifestyle than doing your studies, doing your bachelor, maybe do your master, have a good career in a big company, work in a higher position, get promotion, etc. That's how I got influenced from home. All my friends were sort of like on a similar path, and that were the people I was surrounded with. So I don't know, maybe call it dumb or naive, but I never thought about that I would be able to actually do that one day. So I never really had to trust in myself, and never really dared to actually even try it out, which sounds silly, but yeah, that's how it was.
And why did you decide to go to New Zealand? So was there something in your life that you realized with 25 years having a good education, this is not what I want from life? Was there a special thing that happened to you? Why did you decide?
I think there were a lot of small things adding up to this decision. But the major... not incident, but the major thing that was my job. I didn't like it. I came to the point where I was working for an insurance company, and I had everything you could probably ask for. Like, I had the flashiest car, I had the newest laptop, phone, I had a nice flat. I was living together with my best friends at around this time, and I had everything you needed, but I wasn't really happy. And that was sort of like the moment where I realized, hey, all this material sort of like doesn't do much to me if I have to do a job that I don't like, if I have to spend 40 hours a week doing stuff I can't identify myself with and don't bring me joy. So I sort of like came to the decision that I definitely have to change my job. And I was still too scared to do something about it properly. So I was trying to look for like a solution where I can still something do for my CV, but still get a little bit of the pressure of like being in a full-time job in a corporate world. So I was looking into to study my master abroad. At this time, I was looking into Amsterdam, and everything was going well, apart from the English test. And I had to do the English test, and I failed this one massively, because it sounds different now after 3 years in New Zealand, but it definitely wasn't like this before. So my English was really, really bad. And after I failed this test, I was like, okay, maybe everything is meant to be and I should just leave. So I decided, okay, I'm going to pack my stuff no matter what. And I go on a little trip as far away as possible.
Was it a running away as well for you at some point, or was it just like...
Definitely. Like,
yeah, do you know what you were running away from?
Everything, basically. Like my job, strings attached from friends and family, and everything. Like, especially if I think about New Zealand, you know, I looked at the world map and New Zealand was a black spot for me. I couldn't even imagine like how people live there, how things would work or whatever. I had no imagination about it at all. So I was just like, just pack my stuff, leave everything behind, and just, you know, do something about it. And I was pretty much here running away from everything.
Yeah, and then everything happened a little bit co-accidentally, it sounds like this. So why did you choose the internship in the music production, and what do you find so fascinating in the electronic music?
The internship just fall into place, sort of like, I would describe it like this, because I was reaching out to people I just to go back, I had a lot of time in New Zealand. I was traveling on my own for most of the time, and I had some time to think, and I was thinking like, hey, what do I actually enjoy? You know, how do I want to see myself, or how do I want to do I want to do with my life actually, to go a little bit deeper. And I came to like two conclusions, and the only things I really enjoyed in my life was going out partying, dancing to electronic music or listening to electronic music, and playing soccer. And for the second one, I already knew it's not going to happen, definitely, because I will never ever have the skills in my life to be a good football player. So that was pretty obvious. And then I thought like, okay, but maybe electronic music, you know, that's something. There are heaps of things to do. You can go into marketing, you can be a musician, you can be a DJ, producer, whatever. Like there's so many options in this kind of business. And I thought like, maybe I just should use this time here far away from everything to do something about it. And that's how I reached out to a lot of producers and DJs in New Zealand. And Barton came back to me and offered me that job. So kind of, if I think about it, it just all fell into place. And now I forgot your second question.
What do you find so fascinating in the electronic music especially?
What's so fascinating? Like, one thing definitely, it's a very, very peaceful scene. And compared to other scenes, like when I was 16, 17 and I started going out for the first time, I was going out more to like mainstream parties and clubs, and it was always a matter of like showing off, you know, who has the flashiest shirt, who looks the best, and sometimes you end up in fights and etc. etc. And then you go to electronic music parties and it's a completely different vibe, you know. I actually can't remember one gig where I saw a fight in a club or outside, you know. I mean, obviously, if there are bigger mainstream festivals, things like this definitely going to happen, for sure. But in general, it's not a thing, you know. People go there to enjoy the music or other stuff, but mainly music. And that's something really fascinating for me about the whole scene and electronic music.
Do you think also that drugs make it more peaceful, or that is mainly the music and the vibe of the people?
You mean the tracks?
The drugs like ecstasy or MDMA and whatever? Probably.
The thing is, like, it's hard to me for me to say, because I don't do drugs apart from alcohol, or I smoke a joint or a cigarette sometimes, but I don't do any of that other stuff. So it's hard for me to really tell. I think definitely it does, because obviously sometimes, depending on the amount you take and what kind of stuff you take, people are a little bit more relaxed or spaced out sometimes even, or in general have like way more dopamine than other people, and they just want to hug and share the love, for instance, you know. So I think it definitely does contribute to it, but also you don't go there to show off. You don't go there to dress up like, I don't know. You would never go to an electronic music club and the bouncer tells you, "Oh, sorry, mate, you're wearing the wrong shoes tonight, so I can't let you in," you know? So that's not going to happen.
And also the festivals, it's just way more easygoing. Exactly. It's like people do whatever they like, they look however they like, and no one would judge you for that. So cool. And
exactly.
Yeah. So and so you worked for Beat and Path, or you did this internship, and I already said in the beginning in the introduction that you are in a DJ duo called Boy Oh Boy.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like a marriage, I would call it. Looking at your Facebook and Instagram profile, how did you meet your lovely companion?
Well, exactly how you imagine how you would meet your first wife, you know, like we're both in a club, and there's this magic club called Ink Bar in Auckland, New Zealand, and this is like probably the one go-to club in Auckland when you want to listen to electronic music. And I had a gig there. And back then, I was calling myself just Boy. And I was playing as Boy, as my alias Boy at Ink Bar. I was playing the warm-up set to like maybe 20 people. And there was one guy right in front of my face in a pitch dark club wearing sunglasses and dancing the whole time. And I'm like, what an idiot. Like, look at him, literally like wearing sunnies and doesn't stop dancing. And yeah, that's what was the first time I noticed him. And then I finished my set, and straight away, after a few seconds, he came up to me and he said like, I really enjoyed it, mate. Do you produce as well? And I'm like, yeah, I just started. I'm sort of like getting into it. But I don't think I'm like really good. And he's like, I don't mind, maybe I can send you some stuff and we can hang out whatsoever. And he did. The next day straight away he sent me his stuff, which was like French tropical house, proper French vibes. And I was like, yeah, it's not really what I would like to go for, but you could see the production quality in it, which is really, like, in my opinion, really high quality. And I was like, wow, it's not my vibe, mate, but it sounds really good. Maybe you should catch up, And I think a couple of days later, he came around into my bedroom, and we sort of like, started doing crazy stuff, like we probably spent like hours and hours just sitting in front of the laptop and the MIDI keyboard, and we started working on something together. And I don't know, it's just a flow, you never questioned yourself. Like, we had so much fun doing it, and when you just keep working, and after 6-7 hours you find yourself still working and totally enjoying the time. And at this time, David, that's his name by the way, he was playing in a hostel like every Wednesday. He had a little party there for the backpackers, and he said, just come over and maybe we can play together. And then I did the next week. I came over and I was like probably a couple minutes late, and he already started playing. And I came in, and when I came in, he was playing one of my favorite tracks at this time, which was Anthem, German Summer. And I fell in love once again, like straight away. I was like, man, this is like exactly my vibe. And we started playing together. And
so for him it was love at first sight. For you it was love at second sight.
Perfect.
And it didn't it wasn't a one night stand. It stayed for a long time.
Exactly. That's how it works, in like long-term relationships. You gotta stick together.
Yeah, cool. And for all our listeners who don't know how you playing now together and what you are doing exactly, tell us little bit about the life with Boy now.
Well, I would say we just changed our relationship status to it's complicated because of the whole situation. After what happened to us last year in New Zealand, and then with Corona now and everything, so we find ourselves, like me, in England right now. Currently, he's in France right now, and there are no gigs for us at the moment, and so it's a little bit difficult. Like, we're still in touch all the time, and we can't wait to play together again one day, but it's a waiting game at the moment, so it's a bit tricky.
What happened in New Zealand?
Do you want to hear the exclusive story?
Sure.
It never got told anywhere, so I try to keep
it. I mean, you're here at Unpopular People, and we love to hear real stories.
Yeah, but I don't want the New Zealand government going after unpopular people after I tell the story, No, joking. Yeah, to keep it short, like, we had a little ditch in our relationship, which was, not our relationship, more in the bubble we were living in, because we went on a little tour last year in August. Yeah, I left in August. David came a little bit later from New Zealand because we were playing 3 gigs in Germany, and also to see family and friends again. And after this was over, we were both on the way back to New Zealand on different flights. And I was flying over Qatar and David over Dubai a little bit later than me. And I was already on my flight from Qatar to Auckland. And, you know, you get like an hour free Wi-Fi. And I thought like, I'll save it up for the middle of the flight. And I had 9 hours left on my flight. And I checked my phone. And all of a sudden I had like 30 to 40 messages on my phone saying like, oh, David got turned around in Dubai. He's already on his way back to Frankfurt. New Zealand government didn't let him in. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And my heart started racing. I had still 9 hours left on this flight. People are like, watch out. They're probably after you as well. And I'm like, oh my God, what did we do, you know?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Awful.
So I tried to reach out to David, and he's like, yeah, they got me on the phone while I wanted to, you know, change the flight in Dubai, and they turned me around, so watch out, they're probably after you as well. And I had 9 hours to think about what is going to happen after I landed in Auckland at 4 a.m. in the morning, went to the passport control, and obviously my passport didn't go through. So someone was waiting for me already, and they picked me up. Someone from immigration put me into a waiting room, let me wait for hours, and then started interviewing me. And the main issue was if you play some music on the weekend, you know, it's not allowed. And especially on the visas we were on, it definitely said like you're just allowed to have one job you got sponsored for. And we had a hobby. I mean, we had a hobby and that's it. And we got to the point that things were going a little bit better. We started playing festivals, etc. And we sort of like wanted to find a solution with immigration, but they weren't open for it. So we basically called them and told them about the situation, and they weren't open for it. And they said like, we're not allowed and we should not do it, etc., etc. And at the same time, they flagged our passports. So the next time we left New Zealand and came back, they basically turned us around, got refused entry. Our visas got cancelled, and all of a sudden, from one of the another day, we found ourselves in back at home, back in Europe.
Whoa, that's hard to swallow.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to hear this.
We're over it. We're over it now. We managed to handle it.
Yeah. But you build up quite a life over there, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you have your friends, and you. I think you both have relationships over there. I think David's girlfriend is not from. She's also from France. I don't know if she's with him in France now. So like, and also your girlfriend was over there. And like, what happened like after all this? Like, I mean, with Beaten Path, with your work, and with all of this.
Everything basically. Like, to say it in a proper Kiwi saying, it's like shit hit the fan. So David was sort of a little bit lucky because his girlfriend was already back in France at this time, and everyone who knows David, he just needs a t-shirt and 2 boxer shorts to live on, so he didn't have much stuff left in New Zealand either. But I had a lot of stuff there, like car, relationship, friends, flat, furniture, everything. So I was a little bit stuck in a way. But I tried to reapply for a visa, tried to involve a lawyer, but everything, either my reapplication got declined or a lawyer was way too expensive. So at some point, maybe a couple of months later, I realized, okay, there's no way back for me. No matter how hard I try, I have to accept it, which I did. And my girlfriend, she helped me to sell all the stuff. She was basically selling my car, furniture, etc., etc. So yeah, was a bit tricky, but we sort of like managed to do it, you know.
Mm-hmm. And how did you handle this setback? What did you learn from this? And what can you recommend to people who have not a similar setback? I mean, this is very special, but handle setbacks in general.
Well, the saying I heard the most around that time was things are happening for a reason. I'm still trying to figure out the reason, but haven't found it yet. But I'm pretty sure there is one, you know? Like, what I definitely found out, because I decided to travel to Portugal afterwards, and I spent the last 6 months there, and I had a really good time. I learned a lot about accepting things in life the way they are, you know? We had a really good life there, and boy oh boy, it was going really, really well as well. And then we sort of like were forced to be back in Germany and France, and no one knows boy oh boy over here, so you're reaching out to promoters, etc., etc. But I didn't have hardly any, or we didn't have any gigs. I think we didn't get any gigs, so it was like, yeah, as you said, a big setback. But the only way to deal with it is to accept those things, you know, stay calm. Like, life is full of change, and there will always be change, and it can always be unexpected. But you just gotta find a way to deal with it and keep going. Like, we're still going, so that's the thing, you know. We haven't. I mean, Corona plays a big role as well, because I think if that wouldn't be, we already would have played some gigs since then. But even that, you know, that's something you can't, you don't have any influence on. So you just need to accept it and go with it. And we haven't played a gig for ages, but we are still going. You know, we're still producing music. We still love to do it. We still love to play. And as soon as there will be an opportunity, and there will be one, in a few months' time, we can't wait for it, you know? So the excitement is going to be even bigger when it comes to the next gig.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's really interesting because I remember you were like people from Auckland to Christchurch, and you went to all those festivals and played there, and so yeah, it's been like I remember being in New Zealand, and boy oh boy was a name or is a name over there still, you know. Yeah. So yeah, really sorry to hear this. But on the other side, you were back in Germany, and you already played at Sisyphus in Berlin, which is really quite a world famous club, I would call it. Like, for me, it is a world famous club, at least. Yeah. So how come? Like, how did it work out that you got gigs in Berlin? Like, after this?
I mean, it's sort of like a mixture of, obviously we released at this time we released on 2 German labels already, or 3, no, 2 at this time. One is like called Lukens, which is a really nice label from Eberswalde, which is close to Berlin, like not Berlin, but very close to Berlin, and there's the Berlin connection to the label, and another label called Lauter Unfug. So that's like, there were already some sort of connections, you know, a little bit at this time, and the rest is just luck, I guess. Like, asking people kindly if they know anyone who knows anyone, and then follow it up. Be on their case, but be nice. Don't be too, like, you know, too annoying, and just believe in it, you know. Like, we tried Sisyphus the year before already, and it didn't work out. But then you just gotta keep in touch, gotta keep going, and ask again once time is ready for it. And I remember actually, Sisyphus was, we got the offer from Sisyphus the first time, and we were playing Ritter Butzke the same night, so we had to turn it down. And we're like, we'd love to do both, but we couldn't. And we had to turn one down, and Sisyphus came last, so we had to turn Sisyphus down. And then we flew back to New Zealand, got refused entry, and all of a sudden we were back, and the connection was still there. So I told the guy, and he's like, okay, then come over and play this day. I think it was in September. So if we wouldn't have got refused entry, we wouldn't have played Sisyphus. Like, there's always a balance between the positive and the negative stuff, and Sisyphus definitely was an amazing experience. Like, it was an amazing time we had there. So yeah, I think that's it.
Which floor were you playing on? Which floor on Sisyphus?
The Winter Garden.
And how do you find a Berlin club culture? Like the people there, like the organizers and the people that are behind the scenes. Like how is it like working with them or like talking to them?
I didn't see a big difference to New Zealand apart from the things that everything is a scale bigger, you know. But the vibe is very similar for sure. Like people are in the same mindset. We're talking about the same music, talking about the same scene. So that's very similar. But when you have a club with 100 people, 200 people in New Zealand, which is already big over there, then you have a normal club here, 500, 600, 700 people, you know, and same with the festival. So everything is just a little bit bigger, but to me, that's the only difference.
And what do you think of the doors in Berlin? Because they're a bit different than to the rest of the world. There's like some people say there are certain kind of rules that you have to follow to actually get into the club. And how do you find this, like for yourself and as a DJ?
To be honest, I'm not a big party boy anymore. Like, I like to go out when we have to play, and I have a really good time. But if I go out and we don't have a gig, I go to a bar, you know, have drinks with friends, etc. And if I decide to go to a club to listen to a particular DJ or whatever, I look for a club that's easygoing. You know, I don't want to be in the queue anymore for an hour or longer. I don't want to deal with the bouncer and convince him, you know, to get in, etc. Just I want to go out, listen to good music, and have a good time, and want it to be easy. And if that's not possible, I'd rather go to a bar and have some drinks there. So can't really tell you the big difference. We have to ask David for that. He's the party boy.
Okay. So, and you are now in England, and during this Corona time, what did you learn from this, and how did you spend your time?
So I spent most of my time in Portugal during that whole lockdown, and I was super lucky because I had a nice flat right above the ocean with ocean view, a nice surf spot straight in front of the apartment. I was working for a company.
Which part of Portugal?
It's a nice little fisherman's village called Ericeira. So it's like 45 minutes.
Oh, beautiful! Yeah,
an hour away from Lisbon, and it's really beautiful. And I was locked up in this apartment, and I had a great time because I mean, at some point we weren't allowed surfing for 6-7 weeks, I think. But still, then you wake up every morning and you see the ocean, and it makes you feel better. So I was super lucky, and I'm really grateful for it. And at the time, for music as well, you know, spend some time on producing. And if this time has taught me one thing, then that you can do good things with little stuff. And what I mean by that, I just had my headphones and my computer, and you still make tracks, you know. Like, and David is actually a good influence for that, because I always, no matter whenever I was doing something, when I was playing soccer, I thought, new football boots make me play better. When I started surfing, I thought, a new surfboard makes me surf better, you know. And it was the same when I got really into music. I thought like, the better equipment, a synthesizer or whatever makes me better. But I always said David, I mean, we both were broke most of the time anyway, so, but he was always like, no, just, you know, learn and study the stuff you have and make the most out of little things, you know. All the gear, no idea, he loves to say, which is true. And that's something I learned for the first time. And I made advantage of it, or took advantage of it, during lockdown, because I didn't have anything apart from my computer and headphones.
So David is not here because he's working today. And what are you usually doing at the moment? Do you work anywhere, or how do you pay your bills?
I just relax, you know, Not joking.
Good.
No, I'm on vacation since 9 months. No, I'm now currently I'm actually looking for a job, but till the end of May I was working, or pretty much during my whole time in Portugal I was working for a surf company. They had like a surf shop, a bed and breakfast, and a cafe and a restaurant, but everything under one brand, and it's doing like everything they wanted me to do. Handyman work, helping out everywhere they needed help. And I was doing this even during lockdown because there was always stuff to renovate and that sort of stuff. So that paid my bills for this time, and now I'm looking just for another job actually to pay my bills. So that's a principle right now, and it has been most of the time. Like, my priority is still the music thing, you know, like producing and playing, but mainly producing lately, and the rest, everything else is just there to pay the bills. So I'm looking for a job. If you have a job offer for me somewhere in Berlin or Portugal, let me know.
All right, we keep our ears open and eyes open.
Thank you.
And so you said earlier, sorry, I have to jump back a little bit. I wanted to ask all the time,
okay,
why boy? And I mean, boy, okay, but why boy?
Oh, well, you're the first person who asked why boy, not why boy or boy. When I first started, I think that's always how I explain it to me, but I'm not a fan of like big, massive meanings behind everything. But the only thing I remember is like I was 25 when I first started, and I thought that's a little bit late because you hear a lot about like people, I played my first instrument when I was 9, or I'm digging records since I'm 12, etc., etc. But I didn't have all that background or the story to tell, so I just felt like, okay, 25, hit the reset button, do it again. And with everything I did, I feel like a little boy. Didn't have any clue, to ask everything, and had made lots of mistakes. Obviously you do. And me, just felt like a little boy. And I thought, like, if you write those 3 letters just by yourself, it looks kind of cool. And that's probably why I did it, yeah.
And so you said also the what it calls Ink Club in Auckland. You said it was
Ink Bar, yeah.
Ink Bar, okay. So what's the difference between Ink Bar and other clubs? What's the difference between Sisyphus and other clubs? Where do you see like the main difference? I mean, sometimes it's the music, but like, what makes a good club?
Intimacy, probably. Like intimacy. Within,
like stickers on your phone cameras.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not necessarily makes it a good club just because you can't take pictures. Like, we all use Instagram and Facebook, so I don't know, it's fine. I like it. I mean, that's good having the option, that you can go to a club where they do it, but you can also go to another club where you can take some pictures and make some or keep some memories on your phone, etc. Or you can feed your social media timeline, but the main point for me is like having this intimacy, within the crowd, and from a DJ perspective, your connection to the crowd. I don't like it if you have DJs, and I don't like it when I'm in the crowd, and don't like it when I play, when you have put DJs on a stage. I get it with festivals because you're talking about thousands of people, okay, but not in clubs. Like, putting DJs on a stage in clubs is like, makes you uncomfortable as a DJ because you feel like they put you above the crowd and you are something better, which you're not. And also in the crowd, like, you need this connection, like, be on the same level. Obviously you have some sort of like DJ booth or whatever, so not every guy can come over and stick their drink over the equipment or whatever, but just make sure you're on the same level, and you had that kind of intimacy at Ink Bar because you fit in 200 people max. To go from the bar to the toilet, you need to squeeze through 50 sweaty bodies to actually get there. And it's very easy to create a good vibe in there, you know.
And when you look back to all the gigs you had so far, which one is the most impressive one you had, or the one you remember as really good and that you really liked?
Guess what? It was Luminate. It definitely was Luminate. David and me are still talking about it. Like, Luminate Festival was the first, probably the biggest crowd we played for that night. And having so many people, I don't know how many people there were on the floor, I guess between 200, 300 maybe at this time. And
at least, yeah, it was really good. It was packed when you guys played, yeah.
And having so many people and so much energy there was wow. You know, it's just like impressive, and it's something that I probably will never forget. I mean, there were also so many good moments and so many good club gigs we played as well, but I think Luminate was something else. I paused the music for a few seconds as well in the middle of the set.
Yeah, I remember this.
That was the best moment. I literally was lifting up my arms, and I like looked at the crowd and I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. And when I put my arms down just to relieve, I must have slided on the pause button, and all of a sudden it was silent for like 2 or 3 seconds. I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? Luckily I realized it straight away. I hit the play button again and it kept going. But 2 seconds of silence you need in every set. It's like, just, you know.
But to be honest, that's how that's also good, you know. You see that you're still human, and you're still like, you see that you're doing like a good, you know, you're doing the real thing. Like if you just like do some playback, you know, and this wouldn't happen. But this actually shows that you're actually doing the job up there. So yeah, I think there was also some appreciation.
It was just super funny because like I wasn't looking for another track or was trying to mix in a track. I was just lifting up my hands because I was so excited, and then let my hands down and slide over that button. So it was like kind of, but yeah, you will never forget those kind of moments. It's funny.
It was a great festival for us as well. Yeah. And that's very, very cool. Very thanks a lot for sharing all the stories. It's very interesting for us to hear all this. And so what is your, I mean, at the moment you can't plan many things, but what is your long-term goal? Do you want to like live from your music, or do you want to like go back into corporate life? I think it's a stupid question, but what is your rational plan for the future?
Well, that's interesting timing right now to ask this question, because I'm here in England with my girlfriend at the moment, and we're trying to figure stuff out, and it's a bit tricky. Obviously I have to probably go back and do a corporate job to pay the bills, for instance, but I wouldn't be there with my mind, you know. My mind always would be somewhere else, and would be with the goal of making music, for instance. It's tricky because I experienced something really nice in Portugal as well, which was the lifestyle of working, being able to do music, but also living by the beach, going surfing, etc., etc. So I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a little dilemma. On the one hand, I feel like I should go to Berlin or back to Cologne and just go all in and focusing on music, have a job on the side to pay the bills. On the other hand, I think I could go somewhere nice, live by the beach, go surfing, have a job, and still can do music, you know. So it's sort of like something between lifestyle and life goal, where I'm in between, and I can't tell you really yet which one I'm gonna go for. Like, we will see. One thing for sure, I will always make music. It just depends on the intensity, you know. Because what I don't like about, if you think about going to Berlin now, for instance, working on a full-time job again and dedicating everything to music also creates some pressure. Or I would create some pressure for myself, definitely, you know. And the question is, do you want to have this pressure? Or do you want to live somewhere else, have a good lifestyle, and just do it because you enjoy it? So there's some questions I need to find some answers for, but I will for sure.
Yeah, so and if you, because I mean New Zealand, I don't know if it's if you think of a country, like imagine you have to decide, you need to decide like one country you have to live in. Like this is, you have to give up your German citizenship, and you have to live in one country. Which one would it be?
Probably right now Portugal, I'd say, because it was the best balance between something I was looking for. You know, New Zealand is really beautiful, really nice, and I'm really grateful for all the friends I have over there and everything. But it's still far away from your roots and everything. And Portugal is within Europe. It's a beautiful country as well, and good surf as well, which I really like. So I think I would go for Portugal. Yeah.
And imagine you would be popular. So because we are now here at Unpopular People, and imagine you would be popular. What would you do with this influence, and what would you do different than now?
I hope not much at all, because I mean, it's always nice to get like acknowledgement for your work. I mean, everyone probably likes that. Everyone who's crafting or creating stuff probably likes the acknowledgement, but it doesn't need much people, and I think that's something we have learned straight away from the start. You know, when we played all the warm-up sets in New Zealand, when everything first started, as soon as one person was on the dance floor, started dancing, you're happy, you know, because you have some sort of influence on that person. And when you put out a track and you get one message from one person says, I like it, it's really cool, you know, that's already good. And if this at some point going to be more people, then I'm happy, and I'm proud and happy that our music has an influence on many people. But it probably wouldn't change anything, because I don't think like we're not doing something special. We're just creating what we feel, what we think, what we like, and if someone else likes it as well, that's good. But you shouldn't change that approach. You shouldn't change your behavior just because more people like it.
Yeah, you already have a big influence in my point of view, and it's really great. Like I love listening to all of your sets, and I also like your releases a lot. So where can people find out more about you, about Boy Oh Boy? Can you tell us your Facebook, Instagram, websites, whatever? Where can people find out more?
Wherever you want. Like, you can find us on Tinder, Facebook, SoundCloud.
Tinder?
Yeah, sometimes. So that was really nice. Like, someone sent me a screenshot from his Tinder profile, and I didn't know that because I haven't been a Tinder user for a long time, since I met David. And you can now select your favorite music or your favorite track. And someone sent me a screenshot, like one of the remixes we did. One of our first remixes for a guy in New Zealand. It's called Parabola. He had this as his favorite track on his Tinder profile, and that was a big compliment for us, for sure. So yeah, if you type in Boy Oh Boy into SoundCloud, you probably have to scroll like onto the second or third page, but at some point you find two nice smiley faces, and it now says Cologne, Germany, I think. You can find us on there, Facebook, Boy Oh Boy. Everywhere, just type in Boy Oh Boy, and you probably at some point find us on every social media platform possible, apart from Twitter, because I didn't get the point behind Boy Oh Boy and some tweets.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tweet on Twitter.
Yeah, no, it's we have like Twitter. We're also not on there. It's a different world.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's actually that's how I've like found you guys as well back then, because I remember I was with my with my friend at the festival Shipwrecked in the north of New Zealand. And that's the first time I met David there, and I lost my friend at some point, and like hours later I found him dancing on this boat on one of the shipwrecks, and it was you guys playing there, and he's like, man, those guys are amazing. He loved it, and he's 54 now, so this is like 1-2 years ago, and he absolutely loved it. He's a big fan of you, and when he came down to Christchurch, he said to me, go to the gig, you have to meet those guys. And I went there, and so it's very cool that we know each other now, and we're really grateful that we can have this conversation with you, and thank you very much for this time. I also remember
best gig, one of the best gigs as well, it's called the Norwegian stage at the Shipwreck Festival. It's like literally it's a boat, and you can fit in 5 people, and then it's full, right? So one of the best dance floors ever. You just fit 5 people in. It's super hot and so sweaty in there, but you have a great time just with 5 people. So it's awesome.
But it was also, there were people standing outside. I remember there was like outside where people standing, you could still hear it. And I also remember once we were in the car, it wasn't long ago, and we were, I used Apple Music for a little bit, and I'd always told Apple Music, play music that I like. And of course I played some electronic music before that I liked. And at some point there was Boy Oh Boy, like on the Apple Music, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I tell Apple Music, play music that I like, and Boy Oh Boy is coming. I think that's the right one.
Thank you.
Cool. Marco, thank you very much. For your time, and for your nice words, and we wish you both all the best, and even with this setback with New Zealand, I think there's still a good way you can go, and
don't worry.
So thank you from my side.
Yes, thank you very much from my side as well. It was a pleasure to have you on our podcast today. If you have any final words for our listeners, now is the time.
Thank you. First of all, thank you guys for having me, and I know a big thank you from David as well, who's working right now, but it was a lot of fun. Lots of good old memories came up, lots of good stories to tell, and for everyone out there, just keep doing what you like, what you love, stick to it, and no matter what's going to happen, just keep doing it, keep it coming.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
If you want to find out more about us, please visit our website www.unpopularpeople.com. You can also find the show notes about Marco there.
Thank you and goodbye.